Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another live stream session here at Randall's Computer Service, aka Dom Limited. So, this morning I had a few projects that I was working on. I was going to do a stream this morning, but I decided to get going on a few projects, and indeed, I didn't quite get as far as I hoped, but it is what it is. I was working on a Vizio TV, and I was going to originally buy a new screen for it and turn around and flip it, but problem is, the person that brought it to me told me, well, long story short, I was playing some video games and I sort of got mad and threw my controller at the TV, and I'm like, okay, first of all, what game are you even playing? And he's like, I was playing Super Smash Bros. And I'm like, not familiar with that, but okay. And so this was more a thicker television. Honestly, after working on it and kind of opening it up and kind of examining, due to it sitting in a garage for a few months after he threw the controller at it, stuff was kind of corroded on the inside, and some of the circuit boards were corroded. It would cost more to rebuild the set than it would just to buy another one. So I'm just going to scrap it out. I have another television set that by the same person, but he also threw a video game controller at it too and cracked the LCD panel. So it with my connections with people, I can always get more TVs. Sometimes it's just not worth spending money on parts for some of those TVs. Even the metal housing that they build a lot of those LED TVs with nowadays and LCD TVs, it's for being kind of, I'm not really crippled, but I'm in a recovery process from all that happened this summer. For being on the weak side, I can still bend the living heck out of. I could bend that all in half and fit it into a 5-gallon bucket. That's how flimsy they build a lot of those sets. And don't get me wrong, Vizio is a good brand of TVs in my opinion. Although I never really had too many that came through the door. But I had one here in the house for probably about 5 years before it went out. It wasn't the LCD panel that went out or the LED backlit display that went out. That was the circuit board with the transistor and transformer on it. And yes, we did order. I was going to attempt to fix that television, but I ended up going with an LG instead. Or another smart TV. That one was a smart one at the time, but the company that we ordered the board from, they sent me the wrong one. So they reached out to me and they're very apologetic about it. And they sent me the right one, but that didn't fix it anyway. That board was about $12. And soon as I hooked it up and I put it back together, it didn't really work after that, so I kind of just scrapped it. Got the LG instead. I would have to say the longest flat screen TV that I have ever owned was a Sansui made by a no-name company where they just slapped the label Sansui on there. Well, what ended up happening was with that one was it kind of I'm trying to think what did happen. Well, first the remote quit working on there, so no big deal. I just used the buttons on the side. I could have went and bought a universal remote for, but why would I want to do that? So I just kind of used the buttons on the side until it started. One of the boards went out on it, but not bad for almost 12, 13 years. That was it was 12 years, possibly. I don't remember. I don't have a TV anymore. I sort of scrapped that one out. But I ended up replacing it with another Sansui. Not a new one, but a slightly newer one I found at a garage sale. I could have bought a brand new one, but for $3, you can't really go wrong. And everything works on it the way it should. That one's actually an LED backlit display instead of the LCD. Believe me, I got my money out of that TV big time. Watch TV on there, watch DVDs, VCR, or VHS tapes. A lot of times I hook my video camera up to it if I've made movies or something. I use it as a computer monitor. It really didn't work that well for that, but I did it anyway. I pretty much did everything, just about anything you could imagine with a TV like that. And no, it wasn't a smart TV. It was just a dumb TV, but stuff is just not built to last forever. And it's just interesting how the TV I was tearing up that ended up dismantling. I would have, even if I wanted to repurpose that TV, I couldn't have, because when I looked up half of those fluorescent tubes were burnt out that were in the backlit part of the television, and unbeknownst to me, it would have cost more to ship them, and there's a good chance that they would have arrived in the mail broken. So, and they're very delicate, and a lot of the stuff on that TV was dry rotted. Like the wiring on the inside, all the ribbon cables were dry rotted. The rubber coating on some of the cords going from the power transformer board, I think that's how you pronounce those, to the other circuitry boards, like for the board that controls what you do with the TV, or the board with the solder components on it, like HDMI component, composite, coaxial, a USB. Now, surprisingly, for a 2010 TV that had a USB port on there, actually, that's not really surprising, because a lot of times with the USB port, you can hook your MP3 player up to it, or your iPod, or even like a USB flash drive if you wanted to show your pictures. You just plug like an SD card reader into the TV. I did that years ago. My middle school principal at the time. No, wait, that was my high school principal. Had not a smart TV in his office, but he wanted to see some pictures I took one time, so they get a kick out of him and a kick out of me. I brought my USB SD card reader from home and plugged it into his television, and we were able to view the pictures on his television set in his office. And he's like, "Wow, I didn't know my TV could do that." And I'm like, "Honestly, I didn't know if that would work either." He says, "Well, we could have done it on a computer." I'm like, "Yeah, I was just thinking outside the box." And then he just started cracking up. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. He died of a heart attack last year. But yeah, he did what he loved to do. So that is what it is. So back to talking about TVs, and I do have another TV that I'm going to be looking at. This one's a Sharp. I think it's a 50, either a 55-inch. But that one, the screen is also busted on it. So I don't think I'm going to spend any money on repairing that one either. I do have TVs in stock right now. Just to give you kind of an idea of what I have for sale. I have a vintage Polaroid, like a 4.3 pan display TV. I'm asking, I think, roughly $15 for that model. I do have two. I got an Emerson 18.5-inch LCD TV. I got three Sansui 18.5-inch display LCD TVs. They are not smart TVs. They're just plain old. And those I'm only going to ask probably about $10 a piece. Now, actually, two of them, I would make a package deal, 20 for both of them, or 10 per piece. And then I have one for 20 with a DVD player built into the side. That's an LCD TV as well. I have a 26-inch Toshiba that also has a DVD player built in the side. It's an LCD. Picture's pretty decent on it. I did have a Dynex. I sold that to a good customer of mine. I do currently have a Philips 32-inch. I got to work on that. And I will also be selling, I got a Kobe 18.5-inch TV. I got a 24-inch, 24-inch Toshiba television set. I also have a 42-inch Sony Bravia LCD TV. Works really well. I have a YouTube video on a demonstration on that product. I would actually like to sell that model. And that one also, for $120, not only do you get the TV, but you also get a 5-speaker surround sound, which is a Sony product. That is, it's a smart unit. So you can get Netflix on there, you can get Pandora, YouTube, you can get Sling, whatever you want to stream on there. I think you could even do Facebook on there. I would have to poke it back up again. It's been a while since I've had fun with that stuff, but it also, I can also even throw in, I think it's also Blu-ray, so everything works as should. From the last time I tested it, I got remotes for them. I got all the cables and stuff that go with that setup, and I got numerous computers that are going to be going for sale. So if you're looking for anything in particular, I have a couple of Dell or Optiplexes. I'm going to be setting those up as vintage XP gaming machines. So anybody in the market for a vintage XP gaming machine, I can definitely hook you up, because I got quite a bit of stuff right now that from generous donations and stuff that people didn't have use for anymore. My philosophy is why throw out something perfectly good when you can repurpose it? So that's why people bring me stuff. It doesn't matter if it's DVD players or VCRs or cameras, or if I can repurpose it, I will. And if I don't have a use for it, I'll sell it to somebody that needs it, or it just wants it for the nostalgia, or just kind of generally wants it. I also have a couple of cameras, digital cameras that I'll be selling. And they give you another. I got a bunch of boom boxes, tape players and stuff. So, and currently for sale right now, I have a speaker stand that's made by iCraig, and that is for sale for about $10. So if you're interested in that, hit me up on Marketplace, and I'll make a deal with you. So, thank you as always for tuning in. I gotta go write a letter to somebody. So, on this interesting note, bless you all in Jesus' name. Take care, everybody, and we will be possibly back tomorrow. So, y'all have a good Thursday.